Hello YouTube, welcome to episode 12. I'm just going to talk a little bit today about how COVID-19 has affected the work from home programs and how people have been working more from home nowadays as opposed to working from an office environment or something like that. So I've been working from home since the South African lockdown started. It hasn't really affected me too badly. In fact, I'm quite efficient at home as I have high-speed fiber internet. I have all the latest routing, switching, and fancy gizmos, and I have some pretty decent horsepower when it comes to computing. So working from home for me has been a breeze. But I just want to go through some of the things that I recommend people look at if they are wanting to work from home, especially when it comes to computing, when it comes to VoIP, audio, how to deal with issues when it comes to VoIP and using VoIP devices at home. And of course, if you guys are needing any assistance with this sort of stuff, you can get hold of my company, and I will post the details at the end of the video, and you guys can get in touch with us and we can quote you on creating a solution that works for you. So the company that I work for specializes in firewalls, VoIP, servers, remote working solutions, pretty much the whole IT spectrum, voice and servers and everything. So you would be able to get our services and we would be able to set everything up for you problem free. But for those of you that don't have massive budgets, here's just a little bit of a take on the things that I recommend you would look at if you're wanting to set up a basic work from home program or a basic work from home environment. But before we even start with that, make sure you have a nice office space to set yourself up and a desk. This is so important because without these things, you're going to be uncomfortable and you're not going to find working from home an easy task. So without further ado, let's jump straight in and start having a look at the things that I recommend. I'm going to do this on the diagram on the computer so that you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about and we can take it from there. Place to work, and then obviously using your computer or laptop or whatever you've got, you can then get on with your work easily. And pretty much 90% of communications nowadays is email, internet related, computer work. So this is where you can get most of what you need to get done. Then counter to this, well, not, I wouldn't say counter, but in combination with this, you also need your communication. So you've got your email communications, and then of course you need some form of telephone. Now you can get by with a cell phone in most cases, but obviously having a telephone, or in this case a VoIP phone, helps with the communications with your clients, etc. You can get soft applications for your cell phones which enable the same sort of functionality, but having a desk phone is always much better. Now you don't need to go as extreme as me with having advanced networks with multiple failover routes and stuff like that. You can actually get work at home done in a much simpler way, just with very simple equipment, which I'm going to talk about now. Okay, so we're on the computer. I am just busy testing this microphone audio for this standalone condenser mic that I've been using. I mean, it's not quite a studio microphone, but it's the same one I've been using on the cell phone. And it does tend to improve the quality a little bit. Right, so we're sitting here on one of my machines. This is my personal machine, but I do use it quite a lot for work from home. We can have a look here and we can actually see this is quite a high spec machine. This is actually the HP Omen 7th gen Core i7 8 gigs RAM and a 512 NVMe hard drive. You don't need to go to this extreme to have great work from home. For most intents and purposes, working with your Outlook, your Excel, your Word, and of course browsing on the internet, you don't need a lot in terms of resources. You can get by with an i3 as a bare minimum nowadays. Some people go with Celerons. I don't recommend them. So I would recommend bare minimum of an i3 with 4 gigs of RAM and an SSD to make the machine usable in today's day and age where everybody's impatient and they want the results now. So this machine, yes, overkill. It's not my primary work machine, but it's my personal machine and I do use it for work because it helps me to be more efficient. I also at home have a 500/500 megabit per second
fiber internet links, so things do run very quick. And I also have a enterprise class network at home with Ubiquiti, Unify APs, etc., dual band and single band APs in different sections of the home, which enables me to have much more control over how things work. You don't need all of this. You can get by simply with a good internet connection for your internet use, being something like LTE, a home fiber connects 10 megs or 20 megs per second. And if you're wanting to have VoIP going over the same connection, I do recommend some sort of prioritization using a basic MikroTik router. Now, MikroTik router is a scriptable router. Just to give you an idea, we're going to jump onto my core home MikroTik. Let's just drag that across to here. So here we have my core router. This is my core home MikroTik router. If we jump in over here, you can see I have my fiber connection. It's idling at the moment, nothing really going on. I have an LTE connection, which I do route my voice over for my VoIP phones, just so that I have some layer of separation, and it's also there as a failover in case the fiber does go down. I then have a Cisco switch, which is all 100 meg ports. That is used for my older 2.4 APs, which only have 100 meg connections, and of course CCTV and some other stuff that I have at home. Then I've got my primary core switch, which is the MikroTik cloud switch, cloud router switch. It's a layer 3 to 5 capable switch. I'm operating it on Router OS so that I've got the full switch functionality as well as routing if it's needed. I've got a couple of VLANs running on there being my primary. So here you can actually see I've got my Wi-Fi network. Then I have a Surface XG in my lab, which I use for managing my daughter's internet, making sure that she can't see things that we don't want her to see. I then have my phone's VLAN, which is where all my VoIP phones are plugged in, and they then register out through there, and I route it out through the LTE. Gate Protect is just another lab that I've got running at the moment. And then I've got my Cisco lab, which is a Cisco router. I do some more lab work over there. And then I've got this HP switch, which I've been testing here on my fiber port, which is actually going to be going through to my work. That switch will be placed into the data center as a layer 3 gigabit managed switch for us to be able to work from there. So I've just been doing the setup of that, and I've got it plugged in at the moment just for testing purposes and to see what it's capable of. But you don't need, like, now this is a Hex S router. It's quite a small little MikroTik router, but you can get by with a very basic MikroTik 3 ports or 5 ports, just something to split the load and, like I said, at least manage your bandwidth or create tunnels and make sure that you don't kill your VoIP using data. Especially if you've got a busy internet connection and it's not very fast, it's very easy to kill your voice quality if you don't manage it properly using something like a MikroTik or even a higher level firewall such as a Sophos XG or even a pfSense, or any of those really will do the job quite nicely. And of course you do get some home class routers which do it quite nicely, like some of the newer Tender stuff. But in so saying, I still prefer my MikroTik routers or something a little bit more powerful. So yeah, you can get by with a very basic setup at home. Now, a couple of other things that I could highly recommend are, if you've got your VoIP phone, get a cloud PBX for your business, if it is your business, or if it's not, speak to your boss about getting cloud, because that will allow you then to make use of your phone at home without having double NAT issues and stuff like that. It does make life a lot easier. Now you have multiple options when it comes to cloud. So let's just quickly take a look at some of those. Starting with one of the first options, this is 3CX, free version, which is running. It's actually running on a trial of the Pro version, but you can have a basic setup going with your trunks and your extensions, etc. And of course, this would do the job quite nicely. This instance is cloud-based. It is on my personal DC, so it's basically there as a test. Then I also have a free PBX system, very similar. This one currently does my home phones. At work, we make use of the YMP or EA Star management platform, which is the EA Star's version of the cloud PBX. It is a lot more intuitive and easier to use than some of these solutions, but if you're looking for a quick and nasty way of getting a cloud PBX running, these are some of the methods that you can use. This does work very well. As far as email goes, we have multiple options. We can, of course, have our POP mailboxes, our IMAP mailboxes, but I much prefer the use of Microsoft Office 365 as in the full collaboration suite, because it allows you to work remotely, share your documents using Teams, and work within your team at work and get your work done more efficiently, share information more efficiently, and just generally work much more efficiently. And Microsoft Teams, if you do have a 365 subscription, does come along with that. And of course, it allows you to be much more productive in your day-to-day working from home. You can have Teams meetings and such with your team at work. And the collaboration tools are fantastic. They help you just to get through your day much easier, keep the communication flow running, and just makes life better. Now, something else that I feel is very important in any work from home scenario is a VPN. A lot of clients will still make use of OpenRDP to the internet. Now, this poses massive security risks, so I highly do not recommend it. It's pretty much the same as having a open VoIP server. If it's not secured properly, you're going to have problems. That's why it's always best to leave it to the experts, not the exports. The experts, us at work, what we do every day is the stuff. We secure it, we look after it, and we keep it managed. But basically, to show you guys a VPN, you've got your headquarters, your HQ office, which is where all your servers would most likely be. Then you might have branch offices all connected in with the VPNs. Then you can have your home users, which would have full office access to all the servers and shares at both of these, the branch and the HQ, if there are. And of course, you can have your mobile users accessing this information as if it were available in the cloud. Now, VPN creates secure tunnels between your home and these networks, which cannot be intercepted easily. Whereas RDP leaves an open track. VPN, on the other hand, will create a tunnel from, say, home through to HQ, and then all your traffic actually flows through that tunnel over the internet. The tunnel is created on the internet. Think of it as a concrete tube with all your information inside, and that concrete tube cannot be sort of attacked or penetrated or read from outside, because obviously it's inside a secure concrete tunnel. Why I'm saying concrete is, I suppose anything can be broken, but with all the encryption and stuff used in VPNs, it is very, very difficult for any form of hacker, cracker, or anybody to engage with that information, make use of it in any way, or even to decrypt that information for that matter. So VPNs highly recommended. If you do happen to have a Office on-prem PBX, I would recommend again VPN to the home. You have access to your servers, and of course your phone can then also register through that VPN tunnel, so long as the bandwidth is adequate and it's been set up and optimized correctly. So, number one, computer. Number two, telephone. Number three, a VPN connection to your server and information. And of course, somewhere in between, you would need a decent internet connection to carry that information. Now, 70% of companies out there now operating off VoIP, meaning internet-based telephony, which means their phones register out over the internet and not through the traditional copper networks from Telkom and the likes here in South Africa. And I'm assuming through the rest of the world is very similar. So this is the way I recommend with this COVID-19 lockdown that businesses plan and build themselves out. We're in the process of busy setting up new secure infrastructure for clients which are actually looking to move their data from a physical server on-prem in the office. They're actually looking to close down their offices and actually place this data in a cloud infrastructure such as Microsoft Azure or something similar, so Azure SQL databases and stuff like that. So it's a nice sort of climate. So when people say COVID-19 is a bad thing, yes, it is a terrible thing that's been happening, but it's also redeveloped the way people work and the way people work from home. I am probably 70%, 50 to 70% more efficient working from home personally, because less distractions. Look, the phone still rings, I still get my calls as per normal, but there are less distractions when I am at home. I get left alone at home, and of course the quality of family time is much better because I can step away for 10 minutes to go deal with something personal without worrying about what's happening, and without people having to be engaged with my personal life. So it is nice, and it's a nice new climate, and I'm hoping to see things get better and bigger. So I just want to show you an article that I wrote on my blog a little while ago, which talks about working from home and sort of some of the recommended setups of working from home. So it's just some tips working from home on my website, www.deonswart.co.za. And I talk a little bit here about what I do, how I work from home, and I have upgraded my internet connections and stuff since then. But yeah, you get the gist of it. So it's just a bit of an article that I wrote, which you guys are welcome to head on and go and read. There's a couple of nice other articles here about reviews on different machines and stuff like that. For example, I recently reviewed the new Asus TUF laptop. It's a first unboxing with a small brief unboxing video of the machine, and I will be doing a full review of that in the not too distant future. So that might be a nice interesting one for those looking at a reasonably priced gaming laptop or something for video editing, more power, whatever you might find the need for such a decent machine. So that's pretty much the gist of it. Here's actually a nice little diagram showing you a VPN tunnel. That's not a good sign. When you go to a website and you get that error, it basically means their SSL certificates are no longer in use. So there's multiple terminology for a VPN. A private computer VPN for Office is the one I've just showed you the use case for that. You of course get VPNs, which are exactly the same thing, which connects your PC to a proxy server on the internet through a VPN, and then your internet breaks out from there. This is just for hiding your location. It's nothing new. Most people know what those VPNs are. Now think of an Office VPN as your PC to your Office network privately. Same sort of scenario. I hope that gives you a little bit more information about the basics of working from home and some of the recommendations that I've given. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to post comments below, and I'll be sure to get back to you and answer those to the best of my capability. And guys, have a good one. It is now 9 o'clock at night here in Durban, South Africa. I can't really say sunny. It was a sunny day, but it's dark outside now. And I think it's time for me to call it a day. Catch up on the last few emails and bid you all farewell and a good night. Cheers for now. Until the next episode.